I'm unable to hear you, Praveen, but I think you're asking if we should start. It's 59, right? So let's wait for 2, 3 minutes. We have 9 people, out of which 6 happen to be attendees. I'm not sure if it is ours or theirs, as an outsiders, but let's wait for 3 minutes or 2 minutes and then begin. Okay. 3 or 2 is when we begin, if that's okay. All right. In the meantime, I'll start sharing my screen so that when we start, they see the screen. Hello and welcome to our next webinar in the series of webinars from TimeChamp. Today we will be looking at a topic which is absolutely the must. It's necessity of everybody, of every company, okay? Because we all have a lot of data. Now, what if the data gets stolen? What if something happens? Now, we talk about data loss protection, which can also be called as data loss prevention, data loss recovery, etc. Okay, so what we will be looking at is discovering how to stop data breaches, data threats, detect threats, and improve visibility. Okay, so it's absolutely necessary for all the organizations to go ahead and look at, how the data can be taken care of. Now, who should be looking at this particular webinar? Okay, so I'm sure that many of you would have registered. Based on who should it be for? It's just a hint, okay, but it is good for IT heads managing security protocols, finance teams handling sensitive records, HR and admin overseeing employee data and compliance. It's absolutely necessary for all these kind of people, executives. Okay. Moving forward is the agenda. Let's look at what the agenda is for today. Okay. So the first thing that we will be looking at is how unnoticed data threats hit revenue. Everything is linked to money, revenue. Okay. If revenue keeps flowing, everything keeps flowing. If it stops, if there is a breaker in it, everything breaks down, right? So that is where we will be looking at how unnoticed data threats hit revenue, real world cases of sensitive data leaks which have happened, which normally happen. We don't pay attention towards it because we feel that we are secure. That feeling of security itself is a little bit of a thing which is not real at times. And that's where the real world cases of sensitive data leaks will actually open some of our eyes. Then comes in the real-time solutions for data protection. That will be how do we as TimeChamp look at, real-time solutions onto protecting your data, and a short walkthrough of the process of the working process, how it works, etc., and summarizing, and then free operational review, which can be done whenever you are available to get in touch with us. You can show your interest by reaching out on our numbers or the email, and we can help you with that. Okay. So let's move towards how unnoticed data threats hit revenue. The first thing, let's identify what the problem is. The hidden problems in data protection. The first is you might believe your data is secure, but are you sure? Now, when it comes to data security, there are so many businesses who think that firewall security and others are going to take care of everything. Okay. Firewall, antiviruses, malware protection, and everything is going to take care of everything. However, there is one point, one area which is often overlooked. And when that is overlooked, that is the actual source. And I'm going to leave this question in your mind. and I will be seeking some answers that what do you think is the actual reason why data leaks, why malware happens, why everything happens. Just to let you know, I've been into that industry for around 10 years. Worked with some big companies wherein we were looking at in and out issues of how data breaches happen, what exactly happens, and how do we control it. And sad to say, but there is no 100% thing which can actually stop it. But we can protect, we can prevent, we can try and figure out what can be done. And that one particular thing that cannot be done by any tool is something that we try to address over here. Okay. And that will be most interesting thing. Now, you might believe your data is secure, but are you sure? The answers, breaches often happen before anyone notices. So you would only notice when something hits you hard, right? Until it doesn't happen, you never feel about it, never worry about it. You don't have a vision, which is okay, which is absolutely okay. There are people who are busy into so many things. Then comes in manual processes catch threats too late. So if you are into any manual process wherein, something happens and then there is a person who goes running, stopping something and then restarting to assume that, okay, things will work fast or things will work better. Prevention of data loss will happen. No, it doesn't happen like that. And then hidden risks silently cost time, money, and reputation. Imagine you're any kind of an industry, data loss, malware attack, anything that happens on you, and you are a victim of it, everybody in the outside world looks at a bad thing, right? So time is gone, money is gone into recovery and everything. Reputation is the most important thing for any business. The real threat is hidden, but it can't be ignored. So you cannot ignore the real threat, but it is hidden. So how do you actually see what the threat is? How do you identify? Okay. So I have a friend, Rahul. Okay, just like I had Aditi and Manish, we have Rahul today. He is the IT security manager. He cannot say you hi. He's in the invisible mode, but he's there. Okay, so Rahul struggles to protect sensitive data across 5,000 plus documents on a regular basis. 1,200 plus access logs weekly, many unverified. He alone doesn't do this. He has a team, but it's still difficult to manage. Nearly 1 in 5 alerts need manual follow up to understand what that alert was, how it happened, where it happened from, and what exactly was it. Then comes in the lack of instant alerts, delays, quick response. Because until you have instant alerts, there will be always delays in quick responses because you will only notice it's kind of like a famous thing that is there in this entire world wherein it says police will only come after the crime happens, right? So it's exactly the same way that your ID team, they are super efficient, but they will not if they don't have the visibility, if they cannot see into the future, then they cannot prevent something, and that's where the point comes in. Misused audit keep compliance teams under pressure. Okay, missed audits. Sorry for that. Missed audits. Basically, what happens is that if you don't have a proper way of doing things, if you have compliance under your control, you think that, but still, if the audits are being missed, if the audits are not taken care of in the time, then everything happens, and then there are teams which are under pressure, and it results into people working on something that may not be immediate issue, but it can bring in an issue later. So why not keep on looking at things at time? Now, let's look at the global data. It's astonishing from my point of view. Okay. Really astonishing. Until I saw this, I was still thinking, okay, I used to look this 5 years ago a lot. Global cyber breach snapshot, which says IBM says global average cost of data breach is USD, United States dollar, that is 4.88 million. I say it's more than $1 billion. But this is what IBM says, and I respect that. Wi-Fi Talents, that's another analysis company which says 43% of data loss incidents are caused by malicious attacks. Definitely. The Economic Times, 99% of Indian firms had data loss in 2024. Can you imagine that? Some or the other form of data loss, 99% of Indian firms, and still we yet believe everything is safe, everything is fine. Data loss is happening, we don't have a visibility. Then there is Tech Radar, which says 45% of IT pros see insider leaks as the biggest threat. I'll take this particular thing later in an explanation because it's really important to understand what are insider threats. Okay, not somebody actually bringing in and installing. None of your employees actually coming and installing a virus or a malware, but this means something else, which many of you would already be aware about. But I'll explain a little bit more. Proofpoint talks about 33% of users misdirect emails yearly, risking data leaks. Now, imagine I'm supposed to be sending you an email. You're my client. I send it to somebody else. There is a data leak, impacts, right? You're my competitor. I send you a quotation. You know what is my pricing or till what low or high I can go. So it's all some kind of a revenue loss, reputation loss, which happens. But there's again one thing that we are going to talk about the insider leaks as the biggest threat. I'm going to be taking that particular topic later. However, just before that, let's look at one particular poll, and I would appreciate you all sharing your side of the story. That how is your company's data protected today? How is it protected today? Is it through antiviruses and security software? Is it data encryption? Is it regular backups or enterprise DLP tools? And we will take a couple of minutes gap into having you answer that particular thing. So this is your poll on your screen. Please feel free to choose whatever you feel like. So the options are antivirus, security software, data encryption, regular backups, enterprise DLP tools. Think about it. All right. I feel some of us would have already given some kind of a response. So if we can have some response that we have gathered so far, it will be great. Then we can move forward. All right. 52% of us have antiviruses and security software. That's what we believe that our company takes care of. And enterprise DLP tools is 30%. I'm really happy that at least 30% of the companies are actually looking at it. So let's move forward, okay? And why it is important, what it does, and everything. The biggest hurdles in protecting data. Outdated security practices. You may have a lot of security practices which would be there in place, but the economics, not the economics, but the things keep on changing when it comes to antiviruses, viruses, anti-malware, malware, data loss prevention, and protection, etc. Every day it is changing. Just like how we are discussing about protecting the data, there could be some other companies who would be having a huge boardroom discussing about how to plan the next attack on somebody. And really, that is the reality. Okay, so not sure how big those companies would be or individuals would be, but definitely there are those ones who charge a lot of money later to recover your data or to give your data back. Okay, what happens is weak passwords and access control. Another is the hurdle. Phishing emails and scams is the biggest hurdle. No real time data monitoring. Another one. Limited or missing backups is another one. And accidental file deletions, manual errors. Now, over here, let me discuss about the insider threats. Okay. Because these all take you somewhere near to that. We all have a workforce working remote, working in office, working elsewhere, wherever. Okay. Very often we receive those emails which talk about, hey, I'm your CEO looking at a call from you on this number. Hey, hi, I'm calling in from, or I'm reaching out from this company. We have a voucher for you, and why not you click on it? Okay. So many, $1 million are lying in Nigeria or Philippines or India or somewhere, and why not you reach out? Okay, so all those are what? Those are the traps. Those are the phishing traps. You receive those APK files as attachments are the traps. Okay, now who prevents those? So there are so many email filters and everything which happens and happens and happens, but there is something which doesn't isn't controlled. And that is the human nature of reaching out or getting overexcited about certain things like those. That is where this phishing emails and scams comes into play. Real-time data monitoring is the solution to it though. And then the limited or missing backups comes into play, because if your data is stolen, what happens next? Accidental file deletions, manual errors, So all these things are the insider threats, because unless your insider thing is being known by you, you have some kind of a lens which tells you how is an individual or my team working, if there is anything which is not going right, if they are clicking somewhere which is not supposed to, if they're downloading something which is not supposed to, if they're sending some project report which is not supposed to be sent to a competitor, but they are sending it, it's a problem. So those are the things which happen through an insider threat or a challenge that comes in to manage your teams, manage how they function, how they work, what they do, etc. And these are the biggest hurdles in protecting your data. What are the consequences of weak data security on businesses? Breaches erode customer trust. If you have a breach, your customer trust gets eroded because your sensitive data of your customers goes and gets leaked to the people. Compliance failures lead to high financial risks. Cyber attacks steal intellectual property. You know what is intellectual property, right? Security incidents disrupt operations, and weak security harms reputation. This all is the actual combination of a brilliant issue that happens in many organizations, goes unnoticed until you receive an email one day which says, we have taken away this much of your data, or we are in possession of this much of your data or your server, so on and so forth, and you have to pay us this much as a ransom. Only then we are going to be returning your data back. Okay, there are some data recovery tools which can take care of your backup, etc., but loss is a loss. So that is where customer trust has been, taken for a ride. Your financial risks come into play because you have to pay millions of dollars. That is one thing which is called as is data attack or data breach attack. Okay, so all these things keep happening because data is gold mine. If you don't have data, if you don't know how to take care of your data, you're sitting on a gold mine, but it's not yours anymore. The impact of strong security measures. Now imagine if you have strong security measures without and with, what is the difference? Without, there is manual data handling, incidents resolved in 7 to 10 days, because manually there are a lot of things which are in the backup somewhere or the other. Nobody knows about it. You have to gather information and fill it. 26% data loss risk. Okay, I would say it is more, but let's be more proper into sharing the information. I think it is more than 50%. This is my personal view. Poor encryption practices and IT constantly struggling with breaches. Okay. With security measures, what happens? Automated and secure data handling resolved within 1 to 2 days because you have a backup, you know what to do, what not to do. Less than 2% of data loss risk, and strong encryption practices, and IT managers issues efficiently. Okay, manages their issues efficiently. So this is where the real impact takes place. Okay, and it looks to be 7 to 10 days, but 1 to 2 days, 26% is not much. 2%, less than 2% is still okay. It looks like not a very significant thing, but ask those who have actually taken a hit. Recently there was a big company, I don't remember the name, but they lost a lot of data. A lot of customer information was being taken care for a ride. Even in India, I would say the government domains are changing from .in to gov.in or something like that. Why? Because there are a lot of breaches which have happened, a lot of attacks which are happening. We may blame some countries, but it happens because of a reason, the insider threats. Okay, that is one of the major reasons why manual data protection feels like a never-ending struggle. Because manual protection is tedious and time-consuming, high risk of errors and missing threads in large organizations, hard to manage thousands of files and users manually. It's actually not hard. I would say impossible. Compliance and security gaps often go unnoticed. that is the end of story. That is where the problems occur. This is the actual, juice of, or the raw material of creating a juice which will destroy everything. And that's where the question comes in. What if an automated tool could take care of your data protection, saving time, reducing errors, and ensuring real security? So I've since the start till today, I have been telling this in our series of webinars that TimeChamp is not a company who's only focusing on workforce analytics, who's only focusing on project management or activity tracking, etc. It's actually focusing on 360-degree of the business impacts and all the other analysis that you can get, and how you can prevent those hits to be taken from, and how you can be prepared more for your future. And that's where, when you have data protection, you save a lot of time, you reduce errors, and ensure real security. Now, what happens is, when TimeChamp is in action, your automated data protection solution, what it does. Okay, so let's look at why TimeChamp. First of all, replaces manual error-prone protection with smart automation, gives your team real-time visibility and control over sensitive data. If you don't have visibility and control on your sensitive data, everything goes for a loss. How it works, what it does exactly? Does it install some fairy who keeps a watch? No. But what it does is, it can give you information onto your file activity tracked instantly, user, timestamp, action, anything that has happened. So if I am moving a file from one place to another, copy paste, uploading, doing anything, you can see who's the user, at what time did they do, which day, what did they do, and what was the action, creating, deleting, copying, doing anything of that particular file which was sensitive. Another is unauthorized access, instant alerts to IT manager. Now, somebody is trying to, you may have restricted some accesses through firewall. You may have restricted accesses through many things. However, there are people who try to find their ways, and when they try to find their ways, when they try, what if you don't know who's trying? What if Divyanshu is trying to breach in the data, trying every day using ChatGPT and other things to, not spoiling the name of ChatGPT though, but trying to find ways of, like, breaching in, and you don't have a clue. You're my manager, you have no clue. You're the IT manager, you're the IT head, you have no idea. So whenever there is any unauthorized access which is being done or tried, instant alerts to IT manager are being shared. Okay. Then sensitive data automatically encrypted and access controlled. So you can encrypt the data, you can give the access to only those people who are supposed to be taking the access, not everybody. Security dashboard updates in real time for full visibility. Okay, so all these things actually take care of so many things. Okay, now what it does, okay, what are the key features? What are the things which actually take care of certain things? By when we say that, okay, these are the things that TimeChamp does, what are the actual key features? So first is file monitoring logs. Logs all file changes and gives alerts for unauthorized file access. So tracks all file activity in real time. Creation, modification, deletion with user and timestamp logs. Very, very important. Provides instant alerts for unauthorized access with configurable alert settings. Okay, so you can see a quick small snapshot over there, which talks about what is the username, what is the folder, path. So you can know the folder path also. You can also see what is the action which has been taken by the individual and what was the exact time that the action was being taken. So that is where you can see all information. You can understand if this person is a legit user of that particular file, is using it, or there is somebody who's trying to do something mischievous. Moving forward, there is another one, which is USB access violation. USBs are not used extensively today, but yes, there are people who would try to steal the data by putting in USB drives and trying to steal the data. Okay, so you can actually see when USB activity in real time with blocking and alerts. You can block the USB, though there are so many firewalls which can block it. But even if you have blocked, what if somebody tries to still insert it and tries to access it? Okay, so it monitors USB connections in real time, recording insert remove activity with timestamps. Okay, automatically blocks unauthorized USB devices and sends instant alerts. And that is where the snapshot comes into play, which shares a quick idea that what exactly would it be throwing at you, what information will it be sharing with you, and would it be important, necessary, or how it would be. Again, the next is uploads, downloads, violation. Now, again, we were talking about copy pasting, creating something, deleting something, USB access, and now is the most important thing, which is called as uploads and downloads. What if somebody is just attaching a file and sending it to somebody else, sending it to their own, email ID? I was meeting one of the customers last year, wherein we spoke about one instance. They are about 1,200 employees team, developing softwares for the, very sensitive, I would say clients, sensitive in the sense the government of India and others. And for them, the data is absolutely, priority, because without that, everything goes for a toss. Now, everybody has a competitor. We have many competitors. You may have competitors. So similarly, they had competitors. One individual sitting right in the company, in the office. Forget about somebody sitting outside, okay? Sitting in the office, because some companies think that people who work from the office are their own and working remote are outsiders. Consider your own person, okay? Is stealing the data, sharing it with a competitor. They used to also go ahead, because in the government projects, you have to do a lot of tendering. They used to also share the project reports, tender documents, and everything to the other company, sitting right in the office during the working hours. Only data loss prevention can save such a situation. At that time, we did not have that solution. Today, we have it. And today, we can go back. We can help them out. Similarly, we can get help by, we can help to many organizations by providing records of all file uploads, downloads with domain details and timestamps. Okay, so if you don't want any particular files to go to certain domains which are outside your list of approved domains, you will get an alert as soon as somebody tries to do that. Provides blocking and instant alerts for unauthorized transfers with visibility at user, team, and manager level. Imagine that. I would say it is the most important thing that we can ever talk about. That is uploads and downloads violation. Very, very important. Now let's look at another one, which is web and apps, application access violation. You may go ahead and prevent certain websites from your firewall, or other tools. You may say in your antivirus, you may say that no, these are the things which cannot be accessed, or only these are the things which can be accessed. Why somebody would then try to do that, do access something else? They still try to do that. You will get an alert. Real-time visibility of user activity and configurable website access settings. You can even configure that within TimeChamp. Sends alerts, instant alerts for any unauthorized attempts to access unrestricted applications or websites. Okay, so it will be the second or the first layer itself of doing everything, because see, TimeChamp is not just a DLP tool. Okay, DLP is a feature. Data loss protection is a feature or a component or a module within a tool which is called as TimeChamp Workforce Analytics. So think about the linkage. It actually takes care of, giving you the visibility, a 360-degree visibility on how is the team functioning, if in case there are any gaps, if they are working really, really more and you need to, put some kind of breaks over there, calm them down so that they work efficiently and they don't have burnout issues and everything. You can train those people who are lacking a little bit so that everybody is working, rightly enough. Also, this is a feature wherein if there is one person who's trying to do something which is mischievous, which is not allowed to be done, which is not good for the company, and it actually hinders the progress for the company and actually is a problem for the rest of the people. Why not you have that kind of a feature which actually gives you that kind of a visibility to the invisible activity that people are doing? And that's where, beyond DLP, what if one tool could safeguard data and supercharge your team? And that is where you can look at the complete comprehensive tool, which provides you a workforce analytics and management tool, which offers you automatic attendance and shift scheduling. You can project and task management with timesheets, field staff tracking, live location plus geofencing, real-time activity insights, and much more. So there is a huge forte of things that you can do with TimeChamp. It's not just one or two things. Okay, it's huge things, a lot of things that you can do. I would say that the time has come wherein TimeChamp is a tool which can address about 80 to 90% of any kind of a challenge that you have as a business. Okay. And the rest of the 10 or 20%, we are still working on it and bringing it in. Now, the question comes in the next poll. How many of you are currently using separate tools for productivity and workforce management? The options are multiple separate tools, one central tool, manual spreadsheets and processes, or you are not sure. And I'm sure that many of you would not be either sure, or there will be a lot of manual thing which would be happening at this point of time, or multiple tools. Depends. So we have another 2 minutes. Think about it. Go ahead and answer. In the meantime, I'll just grab some water. We have half a minute more. 15 seconds. That's it. So I hope you would have put in some kind of responses. Let's look at them, which leads the most. Okay, so the winner happens to be very close competition between multiple separate instances and one central tool. I'm really happy that some of you really have one central tool. Amazing. Now imagine you have tools which can give you productivity and workforce management. However, what if the same tool also gives you DLP? That's what is going to be the game changer. Now let's look at the next things. Integration and scalability. How does TimeChamp integrate and scale? Integrate with ERP, HRMS, payroll at any point of time. Open APIs or native integration. Support for from 100 to 20,000 users. There are some companies which are there since 10 years, 5 years, 6 years, still having only 3,000, 4,000, users accessibility, but we have, you can scale till 20,000. Real-time sync across departments, it's absolutely necessary. API support and encryption for sensitive data, alerts for restricted access. You can also go ahead and have custom reports being created absolutely for free. Top reasons why you need an automated tool. Data is spreading across systems, difficult to manage. Biggest issue for many organizations, I would say. My personal analysis says that this is an issue with at least 80% of government organizations in India and at least 60 to 70% of the private firms. Okay. Unauthorized access risks rising because there are data is scattered. Nobody knows who's supposed to be actually the owner to access that particular thing, and anybody accesses it. And that is where the problem comes in. Compliance needs full visibility. Compliance actually needs full visibility. IT requires strong control, right? Employees need secure access. Absolutely important, absolutely necessary. Now, TimeChamp brings it all together. Secure, simple, and centralized. One source of truth. Summary. What you get: real-time file and user activity tracking. Tracking is a wrong word, I believe. It's always information, which is absolutely necessary. Automatic data protection and alerts, role-based dashboards for IT and compliance, reduce risk of data loss and breaches, and secure efficient workflows for employees. Now, this is not a small thing to have in a one single tool. It's a lot that you can have in one single tool, and it can actually effectively replace your miniature tools where you may be paying a lot of money in bits and pieces, may not be able to analyze. And that is where we have one more feature which is coming up, which is going to be called as tool access report. Okay. Which will say that tool usage report, which will say that how much are you using a particular tool, okay, that you have the subscription for, which will give you more idea, and you'll be able to understand that all those set or stack of tools that you have, and you are paying tens and thousands monthly or yearly, one tool, how it can actually be centralized, bring in everything at one place, and how you can save on a lot of money while gaining more on the visibility. Case study, let's look at one of our IT industry client. Okay. So before, they are around 400 employees, average 9 days to resolve any issues that used to happen, and 15 to 20% annual data loss risk. Okay. We are looking at the data prevention thing. After TimeChamp, what exactly happened? Issue resolution from 9 days, it came down to 2 days. Data loss risk reduced to 3%. Okay, from 15 to 20%. IT team recovered 15 plus hours a month. Just imagine how much more can they do. Okay, compliance rate improved to 94% from wherever it was. Okay, so it is a big thing. Okay, what you can do with TimeChamp. Okay, so that's not the end of it. This was about what it does, but let's look at the free 7 day trial that we offer. What you'll experience, you will experience full access to TimeChamp plus data loss protection module. Okay, you can track file and user activity in real time, monitor data policies seamlessly, and identify security risks and compliance gaps within a week. Okay, that's the reason we keep it standard 7 days. If in case you want another 3 days or 5 days, absolutely, that is absolutely possible. What you'll get, hands-on experience with the DLP platform, which is readily available to be accessed, instant visibility into data activity and incidents, and a clear view of risk reduction. No cost for the trial period, absolutely, and no commitment. Don't like it, don't proceed further. If you like it, who can stop you, right? So you can go ahead and book your free trial of TimeChamp. Just go ahead and scan the QR code or visit the link below. Okay. I'll ask somebody to go ahead and share this link on the chat so that it can be copied, but you can scan this particular QR code to go ahead and book a free trial. Okay. The way how we do it is we just don't leave you in the jungle to search who's the tiger and who's the lion. We will actually go ahead and um, connect with you, give you a proper demo for the entire product, take you through to all the case studies and all the testimonials, and also provide you a POC, that is called as proof of concept, in terms of what exactly is the problem that you're trying to solve. The super efficient team at TimeChamp is going to be going to be connected with you all the time, every time during the 7 or 10 days of trial period. So you will be able to explore the tool very effectively and see the results for yourself. Now, start protecting your data today. Book a 15 minutes discovery call with us, share your current flow. Our team runs a workflow audit and get data loss reports and solutions to fix it. Testimonials. One testimonial that I would like to share with you right now is one of the ID managers of more than 1,000 size BPO enterprise says, TimeChamp helped us resolve threat faster and significantly reduce data loss risks by 70%. Not a small thing. 70% is huge. Okay. So this is Q&A time. I open the forum for us to go ahead and discuss any questions, any particular things that you may have in your mind after going through the entire webinar so far. And I'm definitely available for the next 10 minutes to go ahead and answer any of your questions. If in case you have got a question and you cannot answer it, ask it now. or I miss answering that because of the time constraint, please feel free to go ahead and ask us that question on mail us at productsupport@timechamp.io. Okay. Or you can call us at, this is the UK number, this is the India number. We are based out of UK and India, having around 1,200 customers, active customers today, with companies as big as you can imagine, and in 127 countries. So you will never be having a problem dealing with us because we have that expertise and we have that kind of a team who can manage everything. So go ahead, ask questions if you have any, and we can start answering those questions. All right. Thank you, Praveen, for sharing that particular link. It helps. And I am going into the Q&A thing now. Okay. So I have first question. Okay. The first question comes in from Aswini. And Aswini asks, does your DLP solution cover all major data channels like endpoints, emails, and cloud apps? Or is it designed to focus on particular areas? Okay. The answer to this particular question is that it will focus. So what happens is that our tool, the application, gets installed onto each and every endpoint. Okay. And it will gather information of each and every individual, what exactly they are doing. So the straight answer is it will give you visibility onto each and every endpoint where you install it, the emails and cloud applications which are being used within those particular endpoints where you have installed TimeChamp. Okay, so it actually takes care of everything, and it can focus on particular areas also if you specifically are looking for that. Okay, then there is another question which talks about your teams. Our teams use a lot of third-party applications. How do we know which ones are risky? I would say none of the applications actually are risky. The how do we use those applications is the actual thing that tells us whether that is the risky way of using those applications or not. So for an instance, let me say there is an application that you use for communicating with your within the organization with various teams. Okay. Now imagine while communicating, there is somebody who's actually sending files to and fro. Okay. We have teams, and most of the times we also include some of our clients on teams to ensure that there is a seamless communication once they have purchased the tool. If there is any issue, if they need anything, any question that they need to be answered, we just go ahead and provide that particular thing to them. Okay, access to them. And that is where we are providing that particular thing to the customers, and they can just go ahead and connect with us. Now imagine I using the same teams and sending some sensitive information to the customer. So it is not the application which is risky. It is the practice. It is the action of an individual which actually brings in the risk. So that is where we, cater to and put more attention towards. Okay. The next question is, how do we strike the right balance between security and trust? Trust and security are one and the same. Have you seen this? That some of the security guard of a bank tells you, stop, don't go in just now, wait for a minute. Or some theater that you go to watch movie says that please wait, the cleaning is in progress. You have to trust the security, right? If you don't, then there is a problem. So security and trust are actually the other side of the same coin. Because if you are secure, that is where the trust comes in. If you're not secure, if you don't have visibility, how would you have trust? And that is where it's actually the right balance to have that automatically. You don't have to do any kind of an effort. When you know you're secured, you are already trusting everybody whom you're working with, right? So that's how simple it is. Okay. Next question is, how do DLP systems alert administrators to potential data leaks? Okay. So as soon as there is a particular activity that happens, okay, the respective administrator will get an alert immediately. Okay, it will not be late after a day or two or three. So the immediate alert will ensure that the person knows that something like this has happened and from who it has happened or who has attempted that. So they can take the corrective measure within a quick span of time rather than 2 hours later or two days later, they can take a step to recover that particular thing, or to cut down the damage to a substantial amount of thing within a specific period of time. All right, so that helps. uh I see there was one question which somebody had. It has an answers, I don't know how, but um it says a lot of companies think data leaks only happen through hacking, but based on your experience, where do most risks actually start? So it actually starts with you and me, all individuals. If there is somebody who's not paying attention, who's not, who's very eager to open a link which says, "Oh, you have won $10 million," without thinking that why would you win $10 million when you never applied for anything like that, right? So that is where the problem comes in. Okay, that's the biggest area which is often overlooked. So regardless to what we do, what we have presented today, I would say, and this is like a suggestion, a free suggestion for everybody, that on a regular basis, please go ahead and run some kind of, I would say, training sessions or awareness sessions for your teams, because your human, I would say, the last and the first thing that stands between a attacker or a intruder and your company and the data is you and your team. Okay, if they don't click anywhere, if they are aware what not to do and what to do, most of the battle is already won. Okay, the rest softwares are taking care of, and that's where the point comes in. Any other questions anybody has? No. All right, we are 45 minutes into the session, so I'll give it another 2 minutes. If anybody has a question, anybody would like to share something, go ahead, share it. If you have feedback, if you have anything to tell us, if you want TimeChamp team to include any next, because we keep doing webinars twice a month these days. So if you have any suggestions, if you want anything new to happen, any different particular topic that has to be taken care of or taken up by our team, feel free to suggest, because it will help us to understand what exactly would you as a customer or a audience would love to see, and or would like us to focus upon, and we would definitely like to do that. So go ahead, feel free to share that information, and we will definitely be going ahead and providing that information to you. Let's take next 2 minutes. If in case there is any question, I'll wait. Otherwise, we will wrap up.
I didn't catch that. Could you try again?
Oh, my Siri says that it didn't catch that and can attract again. That's interesting. Okay. Any questions? All right. So maybe it's the time to wrap up. And I would say thank you for joining us today. And I hope that you had some kind of an idea on what exactly it can do and not. I see somebody raise their hand. I'm so sorry if I missed that. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask it. No problems. We can wait. No? All right. So concluding it again, thank you for joining in. It was pleasure having you as our audience. We will look forward to connecting with you. We will definitely send you an email with the link to the recording. You can go ahead and look at the recording, or if you have any questions, this is the screen which has product-support@timechamp.io. Feel free to get in touch with us at any point of time, and you can talk to one of us. Okay. And we will definitely do our best into providing whatever information we can. Right. Thank you so much and have a great day ahead. Bye bye.